Hey everyone, this is Freckle Panda here with a review and tour of the USS Turner Joy. This is a naval destroyer, or, not, or actually it's an actual naval destroyer, but it's been turned into a museum. This is located in Bremerton, Washington. By all means, go check out Bremerton, Washington. There's a naval base here and everything like that. Whether you were in the military or you're just curious or whatever, it's pretty cool to go here. It's a cute little city, thriving city actually too. And it's real cool because you can also catch the ferry to Seattle and all that good stuff here. So that was really good. This was first built, or they started to build it in 1957. Before we get into all that, one thing is you have to go to get to the actual museum itself. You go through the gift shop, and then there's another door that you walk out of, and that takes you down the ramp to the actual USS Turner Joy. You pay for your tickets in there. They don't really have much of a discount, to be honest with you. It's kind of bummed on it, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, so this was built around 1958. It was commissioned in 1959, and it was decommissioned in 1982. The length of this is actually, this ship's length is about 418 feet. I guess the beam is 45 feet, and displacement about 2,800 tons, but under full load, it's 4,000 tons under full load. I'm guessing that's with weaponry and ammo and all that good stuff. Propulsion system was four 1,200-pound boilers, two steam turbines, and two shafts. It has two propellers, and its maximum speed was 32 plus knots. Armament it had on it was three 5-inch 54 caliber guns and two Mark 32 torpedo launchers that carried three Mark 46 torpedoes each. The crew actually had a pretty large crew, 17 officers, 275 enlisted were actually there, stayed on this boat, this destroyer. You could actually walk into a lot. This boat, a lot of it was very interactive. So there was a lot of, you could get into one of the guns, you could actually go through it and stuff. Watch your head in here because this is a naval destroyer. It's like I wasn't in the Navy, I was in the Army. It's the same thing when you're moving around a tank or whatever, or something like that, anything armored or anything like that. There's so many things you can crack your noggin on in them. So just be mindful. And they've taken a lot of steps just to make sure, people are safe on this boat and stuff. And yeah. So also it has bathrooms. So if anybody's curious about bathrooms, that's the main thing I always want to know too. Do you got bathrooms? Especially when you're on a long trip and this is one of your stops and you're just driven off a long way. You're like, do they have bathrooms? Yes, they do. So they got bathrooms. We went on a very hot day here in it was in Bremerton, Washington, where we were at, and it was really hot. It was really hot this whole time that we were in actual Washington, which I'm not complaining. It was cool. I love being on the water and being around the water and all that stuff. So it was great. Bremerton, I had never been to. My daughter and her husband were stationed here a few years back, but I never got up here. I don't think my wife got up here either at that time. It was short lived, and by that time they were getting out of the military, I want to say. But I really like the Bremerton area. By all means, if you go to the USS Turner Joy, check out the area. Check out downtown Bremerton. Is moored in downtown Bremerton anyway. We stayed in paid parking just because we don't know. We don't really know in this place where to park a lot of times, and we didn't want to spend half an hour driving around trying to figure out where we wanted to park. We also went at a time when everyone was mostly at work, so there was hardly any visitors, probably just like-minded people like us that we saw few and far in between that decided, let's come down and check this out around the time everyone else is at work. And this was during the week, of course. Um, Also, when you're in the Bremerton area, check out Paulsbo. Paulsbo is not too far from here, and Paulsbo is an awesome little city. Awesome, awesome. Some very nice people, good food, just cool downtown, thriving with a lot of history. So if you like history, go check out Paulsbo too, by the way. I don't have a lot of footage of that. I'll throw it on one of my videos though. Um, I took a lot of footage of this ship. My son really likes to check out naval ships, and I like them too. They're pretty cool. So in regards to that, this destroyer is really known for being part of Vietnam. So it took part in a lot of battles in Vietnam and stuff like that. So that's what it's known for. They fought to get the ship turned into a museum, and it was turned into a museum. It also was the last ship in the four Sherman class of destroyers that they commissioned. So that was pretty cool. Also, people in Washington, The keel was laid down in Seattle, Washington. So that's where they started building at. It was in Seattle. This whole area around the Sound area, there's naval jobs and stuff. Anybody's interested in like works, and shipyards and stuff like that. I saw a lot of people at the end of the day getting off work, literally walking with their lunch boxes and stuff from the shipyards and stuff. So it looks like it's got a thriving economy up here, and by the looks of how much the houses cost, which are still cheaper than here in Denver, and of course cheaper than Seattle. They were still pretty good had pretty good prices on them. This one took place. This one actually, it was part of the Gulf of Tonkin fight, different battles from that. So yeah, it's pretty cool in regards to that. Now, walking around, it can be like a maze once you go downstairs. You go down the stairs into the, I don't know what you call it, the bottom half of the ship. Like I said, I'm Army, I'm not Navy. My son would know more than I would in regards to that. He was in the Navy, but I'm Army. But anyway, you go down here and you can look and see how they lived. And there's so many beds. And of course, I don't think I'm sure in the ship there's not enough beds for all the people that lived on the ship, because I'm sure that they rotated. So I'm guessing they shared their bunk beds and stuff like that. So someone had a shift, someone had a third shift, a second, and a first shift, whatever like this. So I'm guessing they probably shared the bunk beds more than anything. But there's so many ships. But this naval destroyer, like so many Navy ships, is all in one. So you got your post office, you got your barber shop, of course you got your chow hall. I forget what they call it. Maybe they call it the mess hall. I don't know what they called it in the Navy. You got all your bathrooms, your showers, and stuff like that. What I figured out though, if I was going to ever be in the Navy and I was ever going to be on a ship, make sure you're an officer, because the officers got the cool digs. Especially get to the commander and the second in command and stuff. They got like personal bathrooms, and I'm maybe the commander had a bathtub. I'm not for sure. I can't remember. Anyway, he had a nice spot. So the officers' quarters was much nicer than enlisted, but that's a lot of the military, especially back then. Enlisted did the brunt of the work, but sometimes, when a lot of times we got the least amount of stuff. You had your mess hall, you had your big old kitchen right here, so they could do everything. So everything had to be like that, so they could stay on mission and stay doing what they needed to do for a month at a time, 2 months at a time. This was not nuclear power, so they had to go in, of course, in for more for supplies more often, but they were self-contained for quite a while when they needed to be, which was really cool. So watch yourself when you go down the stairs, but you go down like 3 floors, I want to say, and you could go down and you can see the boiler rooms, um, the radar rooms, all types of stuff through here. They also had, if you'll see in this video, has like a prisoner of war. That's actually they didn't have that type of jail or brig in there. That was just in recognition of the Hanoi Hilton, or Hilton Hanoi, or whatever they called it. Basically, where POWs were kept in Hanoi and Vietnam, and so they put that in there with the bamboo cages that they kept the soldiers in, or excuse me, the military personnel. So it was just a homage to that. It's not that they kept that on here, so you would see it in here, but yeah, that right there has nothing to do with. They didn't keep that actually on the boat. So would I recommend the USS Turner Joy? Wholeheartedly, go check this out. Especially if you're a big person, you're big into naval history, stuff like that. This is really great to see this and walk around this huge destroyer. And I know there's a lot bigger boats than this, but to actually see a destroyer like this and to have more access to it. A lot of them we've been to over the years, you didn't get a lot of access to certain things. This one you could see in a lot of different parts of the ship, and walk around and interact with. Um, we went during this time. We also went to, was it Anna Cortez, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was a wheel. I think it was the Wheeler steamboat or whatever it was. No, it wasn't the Wheeler. Anyway, you see my video up. It's a steamboat we went and saw, and you got so much access to this little bitty. I mean, it's little compared to a destroyer, the steamboat, and I really like going on ones where you can actually interact with them. And in this day in Bremerton, it was beautiful. Man, it sits on the water. That's the thing about it. While we're skip off the actual museum for a second, I got a lot of footage on this. Would I live in Bremerton? No. and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Bremerton. Um, I was in the military for a while. I don't really want to live in a military town, to be honest with you. Where I would live is not necessarily Bremerton. I would live in on the outskirts. I really like Paulsbo. I really like those smaller communities like that, with access to Bremerton when I need other things, because I'm guessing they have a Walmart and different stuff like that. So don't think I'm knocking it. I just don't really want to be around a military city. It's nothing against the military. I was in it too, but I just don't want to. Um, and but beyond that, it was great. I would come back to Bremerton. I'd go hang out here, but it was just a trip. It took me back to when I was young, and when I was a young private back then, and just seeing these people walking with it. You can tell the people fresh out of, like, I guess they call it a Navy. They call it boot camp or basic training, whatever they call it. You can tell they're fresh out of boot camp, or and they're training their AITs or whatever. They're clean cuts. They still walk with like super straight and yes sir, no ma'am, all this stuff. You can see it, and it took me back. It's like, wow, that's kind of cool, but yeah, been there, done that. I don't want to be around that, all the time, So, but anyway, getting back to the actual USS Turner Joy, like I said, you got a lot of access all through this on the outside, on the inside. My son, this is my 14-year-old son, going to be 15, really enjoyed his time on this boat. He likes these ships, and I don't mind. It was kind of pricey though. That was the only thing. I was like, dang, y'all pricey. I don't even have nobody hardly here, and you're super pricey. No discounts. Couldn't get a discount for nothing. I don't even know if he got charged as a kid. I think we got charged as an adult for him. I don't even remember now. They give discounts if you're in uniform, but I'm be honest with you. Anybody that's served in the military, unless you're really hard up, you don't want to go anywhere. Most places you don't want to go in your uniform after you're done with work, after you've got some time in. You're ready to get out of that monkey suit. So it's kind of a null point. I'm wondering how many people are showing up in uniform besides like some colonel or something trying to do a tour to someone visiting or something like that. So anyway, and I think veterans got a discount too. Not veterans. Rewind that. Veterans do not get a discount. I was like, what? How y'all? That's my thing. Okay, let's complain for 1 second. How you gonna have military museums and veterans don't get a discount? Yeah, I know there's a lot of them in this area, but still, you should give discounts to veterans, not just retirees, disabled, but veterans. I never understood that. That's an easy way to get out of basically just giving discounts to a lot of people that will qualify, showing off something that many people who served know about or could have been on. Anyway, that was just my little rant. But as everyone knows who watches my videos, I'm pretty frugal. I will look and look and look for things and on deals, and I will wait and wait and wait to buy an e-bike until I find it for the right deal, even if it's just $20 cheaper. I look at it like this: money saved is money that can be used to put back in your gas tank to go somewhere else, to go check out a new place to eat, to do whatever, to buy a tent, things like that, whatever. So that's just me, neither here nor there. So I got a lot of footage on this. So as you can see, I'm going all through this ship. I'm like, man, where's this place end? Where's this end at? There's just more and more and more. But then, like I said, remind yourself, this is a fully functioning warship. This is a destroyer. It's like the steamboat I did a quick tour of in Anna Cortez. It was all enclosed too, and that was the thing about it. It was all enclosed also. But the difference between it was it's just a smaller ship, but it had its crew, rooms for the crew, the real nice room for the captain, of course, and his second in command, who had a pretty nice room too. It's the same with this too. The difference is it's a warship. So as you can see, go down here, more bunk beds and more. They had them stacked in here. I'm wondering about air conditioning. That would be my question. I saw that the officer's side had air conditioning. It said, one of the doors said, this is officers' quarters, our officers' country. And also, keep door closed, air conditioning running. So I'm like, I'm hoping that the enlisted had air conditioning. You never know in the 60s, 50s and 60s, like, if the regular folks got air conditioning, the peasants, the enlisted, So anyway, going to the sonar room, you get outside, you can see all the other stuff out there. They've done a really good job of upkeep, cleanliness. It's very clean. You can almost not smell the smell of oils and stuff like that when you get to the lower floors as you get closer to the engines and everything like that. And it had to take a lot of cleaning to get those odors to be that less. You could smell it even less than what you could, because I guarantee you, back when this was running and after it was done, it smelled pretty bad down there. But now that you can, it's still there. It's always going to be there, but it's not there like you just expect it to be. Um, because they've done a lot of cleaning and a lot of good upkeep of this actual museum. um, Painted well. It's moored, so it's not sitting on land, so it's actually moored in the water. So that's really cool. So it still sits in the water. I don't know if it's on cement or something like that because I don't remember it ever moving or anything. But people in the Navy, you may know more than me. Does a destroyer really? Can you really feel a destroyer moving a lot if there's not like a lot of, waves and stuff like that when it's just moored somewhere? Because I know it's a large ship in comparison to other ships. So, like I said, you had access on the ship to almost everything. Um, Really, you really did. Also, when you walk in rooms, don't get scared because some of the rooms you will walk into, it'll just start talking to you. So it's interactive in places like, whoa, it's talking. Especially when I was like in the basement or in the basement. Oh my gosh, when I was on the second or third floor on lower second or third level, lower levels, and all of a sudden it starts talking to me. I'm like, whoa, I thought there was a ghost for a minute. I was like, what the heck? So anyway, that's something to keep in mind. Anyway, I recommend if you're in the Bremerton, Paulsbo area, go check this ship out. Go check out Bremerton. If you're not a military person, you've never been in the military, you don't come from a family of vets or anything like that, while you're in the area, go drive around Bremerton. Go eat dinner or lunch or something downtown and go check it out. And see what a military town looks like because Bremerton is heavily dependent on those naval yards. Heavily. Um, it's they're probably their bread and butter. Also, while you're down by here, if you keep walking when you get out, you can just Google it. I think it's called the Puget Sound Museum. There's another museum that's free. It's in a building, especially if it's on a hot day like it was. We found it on accident walking by some like oh, they had some outdoor fountains that a bunch of little kids and their parents were out there playing with them in. And we saw this Puget Sound Museum. I'll leave a picture of it in here. I didn't take much video there, but it's a free little museum. They asked for the donations. They're probably paid for by the city or like some type of association or something like that, a nonprofit. But it was actually well kept, really nice. The people inside were really friendly, very helpful. They told us about the different ferries. So we drove and drove. Um, and we actually went to Bremerton on a day we were supposed to go to Seattle. And that's you've heard probably in some of my other videos that the highways were a mess. Somebody hit there was a hit and run on a motorcycle that left a fatality. They literally shut down the highway for hours upon hours, like right during rush hour. So we took off the opposite way or whatever we did, but you could actually hop on a ferry. So when we were there, we debated. Once we made it there and we did everything we wanted to do there, we debated taking the car, hopping on the ferry. It's only 30 minutes to Seattle waterfront, and like just going hopping over to Seattle. I was like, oh, but we didn't. And I'm glad we didn't. And this is the reason we went to Paulsbo, and I love Seattle, but have never been to Paulsbo. And Paulsbo was an awesome, awesome little town, little city, very vibrant, very cool. Learned a lot about their history going into the little spots in there where the people that volunteers were very helpful in regards to explaining things to us. It was really great. I would love to go back there. I love this part of Washington. I love a lot of parts of Washington. I love this part of Washington too. I love these little towns. People will ask, Bremerton, is it diverse? Don't ask. It's a naval base. It's Navy. Anything military, Army, Navy, Marines. Everybody, all shades, colors, beliefs, live there. Everybody. It's called the military. Can't get along in life and anything else, you better learn how to get along with people that don't necessarily look the same as you if you're going to be functioning in the military. So yes, everybody is here. I went to Paulsbo. Paulsbo, lots of different people. It's an old Scandinavian city. Everyone was welcoming, beautiful. Um, Parking could be a little interesting, but it was not that difficult. And we also went when it was pretty busy. We still found parking, free parking, by the way, public parking. So go check this out. Go to Bremerton. Because I probably won't be doing a review of Bremerton because I don't have a lot of footage. I'll just talk about it real quick. Like I said, you leave from here. This is more downtown. You literally can walk around, and there's all these different places to eat. It's pretty chill. I recommend going while the naval yards are closed, or excuse me, while people are at work. So go during a work day if you possibly can, and you'll have it all to yourself. Anyway, this is Frugal Panda. I want to thank everyone for watching my videos. I hope this helps someone out there. Hope this helps someone put this on their list of places to go check out, especially if you got people in your family that are history buffs, or you just like looking at things that are part of American, Canadian, whatever history. I've traveled all over a lot of places in the United States, outside of it. Everywhere I go, in the cities or and sometimes I don't take footage of them, in other countries I like to check out. I enjoyed last trip we went overseas was Portugal, and I really enjoyed learning about their history. I knew a lot about it, believe it or not. My first major was history, but I didn't know a lot about the Angolan Wars and things like that. And it was really cool to go to and learn about the Angolan Wars and all those different wars that happened in during this dictatorship. But if you enjoy history and stuff like this, by all means, go check this out. Go check out the Puget Sound Museum too. They have a little donation box. You're not obligated to put anything in it. I put a few bucks in it. I would have put like $10 or something in there, but I only had a few dollars on me. I don't carry a lot of cash, but I put a few bucks in there because I was thankful they had it. They had nice bathrooms. I'm talking about the Puget Sound Museum. Nice bathrooms, air conditioned, very clean, well kept. The volunteers were very helpful. They were ones that's telling us about the ferries and stuff. We told them we drove, and they're like, "Why don't you just take the ferries and stuff like that?" So they started telling us about how to use them and stuff. I've used them, but not. We haven't taken a car on a ferry in 20 some years. When we came here as honeymooners, basically 20 some years ago, and we actually did it this last time on one of my other videos. You probably see it. Why, if I did put it together, we actually caught the ferry and took it from Anacortes or Coupeville to Port Angeles. Port Angeles rocks too, by the way. Sequam, all those places. Anyway, it's Frugal Panda. Thanks for watching, everybody. This is the USS Turner Joy, naval destroyer, decommissioned in 1982. Historical part of the Vietnam War, U.S. Navy. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good day. Get out there and explore. Thank you. Frugal Panda's out.